Wow.
Okay.
Shalom.
Okay. Very good. So, okay. So, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. My first time.
Let me ask you, I'll start out right away before I forget.
Yeah.
I told my wife about our meeting and I said I'm speaking to a Jew in Egypt. Yes. And she said, "Oh, what is he? What is his relationship with Egypt? Does he live there? Does he work there? Does he frequently go there? What's a Jew doing in Egypt?"
Well, the main reason I've always wanted to go to Egypt, of course, was because of my connection with Rambam and the Rambam. But that's not why.
Okay, but the Rambam is no longer there.
He is no longer. Well, supposedly.
He left just before you came.
Right. So I guess she's probably wondering, in other words, politically, am I politically involved with Egypt or Israel or the current conflict and stuff like that? Is that what she's wondering?
No. Where do you live? Do you live in Egypt?
No. Well, I've been here for.
Is your home? Where's your home? There's some people who have several homes, but what is your regular home? Where do you live?
Well, I don't have any domicile that's under my name, but my home is Yerushalayim, where I lived in the old city for 8 years. A tour guide of Eretz Yisrael, and I learned in Asia Torah, overlooking the Kaisel, and davening there most nights and mornings.
Okay.
So these are my
so that's where your home is, and you say you visit Egypt, so you have a place in Alexandria also?
Well, I'm traveling Egypt. Yeah. See, as I mentioned to you in the email, Rav Noach Weinberg appointed me to do Hasbara, to actually reach out to the world, and because he believed that people ultimately want to know the truth. They don't want to be fools. They want to know the truth. They want to speak the truth. And they also want goodness for themselves and for others, ideally, if possible. So I was traveling 25 years ago around the world on his behalf, and it was very, very successful. But then, as I mentioned to you, someone got involved and wanted me to be a propagandist instead of an honest individual, and I left that. But I haven't given up the charge. So this Hasbara is what I'm still doing, Yom V'Layla, and I'm hoping that soon, not hoping, no, I'm working towards soon having the ability to do it on a larger scale, because I think that the world is mostly mistaken when they're in conflict. Let's look at the one that in Eretz Yisrael, where you are right now. Between Gaza and Israel, right now a lot of blood has been shed. It'll take time to come back from all of this. But nonetheless, the primary issues, I think, can be resolved. The primary issues, I think, are resolved not through treaties by leaders, but through people realizing that the other people are people as well. And Chayiv kol adam loymar bishvili nivra ha'olam. We should all state up front the facts and not pretend and not, as to how the world works. Tell each other what we believe and try to convince ourselves, the other person, be open-minded, v'chulei. And I've had a lot of experience with that in my own life and in public life, as the Rav of a shul, as traveling Hasbara, which is the bigger thing. So I came to Mitzrayim with the intention of doing man-on-the-street interviews. But man-on-the-street interviews aren't doable when everyone is afraid that they will either get sent to jail or killed, right?
Is that why that's the situation in Egypt, yeah?
Yeah.
People are afraid.
What's that?
People are afraid to talk in Egypt, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't have, even though I have thousands of important people following me on Substack and my newsletter on YouTube, I'm completely a persona non grata. They gave me a strike today. They gave me 2 strikes in the last few days. One was I uploaded a 7-second video from a TV show from the 16th century Japan, and it claimed that video was trying to teach people crypto. And then another thing just today, was I was showing how we can get along. Someone who originally wanted to kill me, he's actually from Gaza, and he saw me talking Jewish stuff, and then I asked for a sip of his Coke as we got more camaraderie. He gave me his Coca-Cola. I handed it back to him. He said, no thanks. I said, what? You're afraid of getting Jew germs? We all laughed together. He took the Coke. So YouTube took that down for Jew germs. So the people who are trying to keep the current game of win-lose in place are working very hard to make sure I don't have people that can hear me. So in Egypt, if I had a large audience, people wouldn't be afraid to speak. But because I only have on YouTube a small audience, they are afraid because with a small audience, they don't have the protection of knowing that the world is watching. And if they say something that's a little bit too extreme, which of course is the usual starting point. Of course, every single person I meet, their usual starting point is extremely anti-Semitic. Extremely, extremely, extremely anti-Semitic. Sometimes mythically so. Mythically. I mean, I've seen Mein Kampf for sale over here. Mythically, yeah, people believe that Jews have different biologies. I mean, some Sofer said it too, but Jews have different biologies. V'chule, v'chule. So, if they start off in that direction, they get in trouble with the government, which doesn't want that. But if they come around to the reasonable understanding, which every single person does, understanding that if they were in Israel's point of view, they would do exactly the same thing. The only option is for us to reset the game, So everyone ends up being reasonable, and they're afraid that those will be turned into clips by maniacs, and it'll get them in trouble, not with the government, but with maniacs.
But let me how how much time do you spend in Alexandria in a year, let's say?
Oh, I only moved to Egypt after October 7th. I moved to Egypt. I moved to Egypt after October 7th.
After October 7th, you moved to Egypt. So your home base right now is Egypt. It's rather than the old city, what?
No, my home is the old city.
Your home base right now, your base is Egypt.
I'm physically located in Egypt, yeah.
You're typically located.
I wasn't having success speaking from New York. I mean, I was in New York beforehand. And I wasn't having success speaking, trying to get the ability to go to Gaza myself at the start of the war. I have released hostages in the past. I have successfully saved Jewish lives in the past through hostage negotiation. And nobody was listening to me from New York. I thought maybe they'll listen to me from Egypt. So I would be willing to go to Gaza. I'd be willing to go to Gaza if they listen to me from Gaza. I just want to have a hearing. People don't have to agree with me. It's just that I need a hearing.
Okay. Okay, very good.
So
what can I do for you? And I'll repeat the question that my assistant asked there in the first reply in our correspondence. What can I do for you?
Well, when I wrote to you, I didn't expect her to reply with any kind of offer at all. The truth is, and pardon, I did very well in mathematics as a kid, but I haven't done it since I was a kid. So I really had no idea what you won the Nobel Prize for. I knew game theory. I knew the basics of what it means. But really, I was just writing you because I was appreciative that my father was proud. Even at 49 years old, I'm happy to make my father proud. He had asked, when I told him 10 Nobel Prize winners were reading me, he said, is one of them the Israeli Robert Aumann? And I said, no, he's not. So then when you became a reader, I was very, very proud, and I just wanted you to know that. That was the totality of it. I didn't have it.
To tell you the truth, I read your letters, but I don't even know where to find anything else for you. I'm no good at technology, yes. I read email but there's not much else I can do. Uh,
Well, all my
so,
articles, yeah.
but why should I read what you're saying? What are you saying that is of interest to me? Okay.
Well,
You mentioned many of my friends, yes, Al Roth and Eric Maskin, and I think you mentioned whatchamacallit, the guy at Northwestern also, Roger Myerson. Did you mention him?
it could
Uh,
be. See,
it
again,
could be.
I am an
But there's
Amoritz.
many other people you mentioned. So you say they read what you write. So what do you write? Yes, it's interesting. Yes, I'm. I don't have. I'm way behind in all my work. Yes, and I really I don't have time to. But what is it? Why? Let me put it very bluntly. Why should I read what you write? Whatever wherever it is, I don't even know where to find it. But what do you say there? What's the contents? What do you discuss? Yes.
There's no point to anybody reading what I write or watching my videos unless millions and millions of people do. In other words, the same as, like, I've made 4 videos where
Well, why should I do it? Never mind millions.
you
Me, I. Okay.
because
Why should I do it? Well, why do you think it's of interest to me?
if you and I have a similar belief about the world and how we can make it better very quickly, then we can actually make it happen together. You have friends whose names I don't know. I didn't give you those names because I knew you knew them. Everything about you I learned afterwards. After I got the email from Orly with you saying offering to help, that's when I learned everything about you. Before that, I knew almost nothing. I'm sorry, but almost nothing. But since then, I discovered that what you have proven mathematically is essentially the things that I'm trying to accomplish. And I want to discuss with you how we can do it, strategically speaking.
All right, go ahead.
So it seems to me, as someone who is ignorant, I should stop speaking so many Jewish terms, maybe. As someone who is an Amoritz, ignorant, um, you've proven that people are self-interested. In other words, we've
I
always.
haven't proven that. That's a starting point. Uh, it's a starting point for all of game theory and economics. It starts out with the people they're self-interested in the sense that they want to promote their own goals. Yes, they act in order to promote their own goals. That's now those goals can be helping other people or something like that. That the goal can be that, but people. One might say that economics and game theory is a study of people who are out to promote their own goals. And how do you do it? Or what's something like that? Yeah.
So, would you agree with me that if people were not paranoid, if people knew that other people weren't so bad, in other words, if people had a perception about others that was worse than they really are, especially about large demographics, if people had a more accurate understanding that those people could come to the table and even be friends, then that there would be a lot less conflict?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. You think people are paranoid?
I know, I know very
And
much so.
you think that many of the woes of the world are the result of paranoia. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Take our situation in over here in Israel. I don't think it's a matter of paranoia. I mean, it's that I don't think the Arabs are afraid of us, or not afraid. I don't think that the Arabs think that we. Maybe they do. I don't know. I think the problem is not a problem of personal relationships, but it's a problem of Shnayim Ozen Batalis. Okay? It's Shnayim Ozen Batalis. And
Jabotinsky quoted that.
it's Zeomer Kula, but our problem is that it's not Zeomer Kula Shali, but Zeomer Chetzer Shali. It's Zeomer Kula Shali, but Zeomer Kula Shali. It's Zeomer Kula Shali, but Zeomer Chetzer Shali. We only say Chetzer Shali, okay? And they say Kula Shali. Now, you know the halacha over there, yes, the halacha is זה נוטל 3 חלקים, זה נוטל רביע, okay? It's not, I don't think it's a problem that they think we hate them. They're not afraid of us, I think. They feel not afraid of us, but they feel subjugated, okay?
Yeah.
They feel subjugated. And it's not only that they feel subjugated, they and in a sense they are subjugated, okay? In a sense they are. But the problem there is one of education, okay? That they are educated to be potatoes. Okay, that's the education in the schools in the territories, in the Yudan Shamron and until 2005, it was also in Gaza. You think it's mainly a problem of paranoia? Well, I think maybe that's part of it, but I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure really what the problem is.
But everything you said,
What's that?
Everything you said, I agree with. That I mentioned to you that I'm a Talmud, or so to speak, even though I never met him, of Menachem Begin, and through him, Jabotinsky. He once gave that example, Jabotinsky, of Ze'er Makula Shli v'Ze'er Mechetzi Shli. Exactly what you just said from Bava Metzia.
What? I didn't catch that.
Jabotinsky gave that same mushal of Ze'er Makula Shli v'Ze'er Mechetzi Shli. That's why he wanted.
Oh, Jabotinsky also said. Oh, Jabotinsky. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But so far as the education is concerned, when I traveled for Rav Noach, I would show a video called Jihad for Kids, showing how in the school system, yes, they're training the kids for jihad. And by the way, a friend of mine who was helping me organize the whole thing, he returned back to Eretz Yisrael with the extra ones because we were traveling in different countries. And at the airport, he got stopped because he had a whole bunch of videos labeled "Jihad for Kids." But yeah, I'm minded to all of that. But the truth of the matter is, I think that people are not really honest about what they believe. Almost nobody. Everyone, I've met people of all religions who claim to believe that definitely olam haba, olam haba, olam haba, and yet they really don't want to die. And when someone dies close to them, they're very, 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 very sad. There's people's claimed beliefs and the way they really act, which is the kind of thing that we can test in game theory experiments. So, a friend of mine in Jordan, I didn't mention that I was Jewish. At the time, I didn't think that I was on a mission. I was done with it. I didn't want any part of it. I wanted to be an anonymous individual. But, loy machshavoisai, machshavoisoi, v'loy drachai, drachoi. So I was brought back into this. But at the time in Jordan, a friend of mine who didn't know I was from Jewish in any way, I asked him, like, what's your one thing you want more than anything else? And he said, my son to die as a martyr for Al-Aqsa. Now this guy, right? So that's a very strong statement, yes? His job is that he is the air marshal on in first class. He's the guy with the gun to stop a terrorist. And they fly to Israel. And he's never martyred himself, never mind martyring his kid. What people say differs a great deal from what they actually do, based on how you can see how they live their lives. But
so people don't say what they really want, yes.
Yeah.
So...
But the belief that look, obviously, if Israel is weak, nobody cares whether they're nice or not. It doesn't matter if people think that we're Nazis or we're Yushkas. It doesn't matter. But with Israel having shown strength, it would be helpful for people to know the truth. Literally, everybody I meet here, even like in Alexandria, they're more rational, they're more cosmopolitan. It's a different perspective than Cairo. I've only been in Alexandria for a few weeks. Otherwise, I was in Cairo, I was in Sharm el-Sheikh, I was at Har Sinai, traveling different places. But people I meet, they really believe, like their definition of Zionism, they really think that what Zionism means, and what all Jews agree Zionism means, is for all the Jews to work together and to subjugate and enslave all the other people of the world for their own personal benefit. Just azoi, So that's what they genuinely believe. Right? I show them.
Really, people believe that? Jews want to subjugate everybody else in the world. That's what the people in Egypt believe.
Not just in Egypt. Let me tell you, not just in Egypt. I've traveled quite a bit, ever since I was very idealistic until the age of 26, and I had an experience at 26 where I decided what to live for myself, and since then I've traveled the world experiencing getting to know humanity. And really, in Arizona, in a small little American village in the middle of Indian reservations, I was talking with some woman at some museum, and Jewish came up. I wasn't wearing a yarmulke per se, but Jewish came up, and I asked, like, what do you think when you see someone wearing a yarmulke? Like, if I were wearing a yarmulke. She said, well, there's a lawyer here who comes here sometimes, from Tucson. He wears a yarmulke. And I said, no, what do you really think? Tell me the truth. He said, well, I guess it's a religious thing. It took a while for me to get her to say what she really thinks. And she said, I think it means that you're saying that you're better than us, right? I mean, like, that's how we feel.
You're saying what?
You're better than us.
I didn't catch that.
That you're more important than us. That you're better than us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was really her perspective. I'm saying people really, I think that the Torah sets us up, the Torah, the Bible, we have a mixed audience, but I guess let's address academics at this point. The Old Testament, regardless of whatever it happens to be and from wherever it happens to have come, it is a meme, right? Which a term that was coined by Richard Dawkins, related to the word gene. It is a meme that sets up the people of Israel, regardless of genetic influx, genetic outflux. It is a living meme that sets them up to either perfect the world in according to the lines of what we read from the Bible on Yom Kippur, the highest of high holy days, Isaiah chapter 58, and also the famous words from Isaiah and other prophets that are mentioned, in the UN and elsewhere: nation will not lift up sword against nation, nor shall they learn war anymore. But much more than that, a much more pleasant.
That verse. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
But that verse was quoted by me.
Yeah.
Okay, in Stockholm, at the conclusion of my Nobel speech. Okay, so every laureate has to make a speech, and I made a speech. It was largely about technical things, but I ended up with that. Let me read it to you, okay?
Please.
Let me take it out, not to make sure not to get it wrong.
Please.
Here. Wait a minute. It's in Yeshayahu Bet, right?
Yeah, I believe it's the beginning of Perek Beis or Perek Gimel, and then there's another version of it in another Navi, but I don't want to accidentally say the wrong one.
Okay, I got it. Okay, it's really in Bet. והיה באחרית הימים, נכון יהיה הר בית השם בראש הערים, ונישא מגבעות, ונהרו אליו כל הגויים. והלכו עמים רבים, ואמרו, לכו ונעלה אל הר אדוני, אל בית אלוהי יעקב, ויורנו מדרכיו, ונלכה באורחותיו, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. Okay, and now comes the punchline, okay? ושפט בין הגויים, והוכיח לעמים רבים. וכיתתו חרבותם לעיתים, וחניתותיהם למזמרות. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. That is almost the end of my Nobel speech. Not quite, though, because when will that happen? When will it happen? When will it happen that וכיתתו חרבותיהם לעיתים וחניתותיהם למזמרות, לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה? When will it happen? When the beginning happens. Yeah. When they say, ונהרו אליו כל הגויים, נכון יהיה הר בית אדוני בראש הערים, ונישא מגבעות, ונהרו אליו כל הגויים, והלכו עמים רבים ואמרו, לכו ונלכה אל הר השם. Okay, then it'll be וכיתתו חרבותיהם ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. But until then, you have to learn war in order not to fight. Okay, that was the end of my talk. That's game theory, okay? That's game theory. You have to learn war in order not to fight. In order not to fight, you have to learn war. Because you know what? Let me tell you a story. I go with my grandchildren, or my children also, my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren. When they get to be 15 or 16, I go with them a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, now the period is becoming shorter and shorter. But I used to go with them for a week or two to Chutz La'aretz, and to be one-on-one. Because if I take 2 grandchildren or 2 great grandchildren, then I'm out of the picture. Yes, they have each other, and I'm out of the picture. But I want to be in the picture, so I take one. And I don't take any adults either. I used to do that. Now I'm getting older. I need an adult also, but I try to do it one-on-one. So I took this grandchild, and we were in the Swiss mountains, and there was a jet fighter plane flying overhead. So my grandson says to me, Saba, he says, "Ma ze matos hazeh?" So I said, it's a Swiss, it's a fighter plane of the Swiss Air Force, okay? So he says to me, but Saba, why do the Swiss need fighter planes? Yes, they've been at peace for 400 years. Okay? So I said to him, Nave, you know why they've been at peace for 400 years? It's because of that fighter plane. Okay? So I said, you have to learn. You have to learn war. ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה, אז אני אומר שילמדו עוד מלחמה in order not to fight. Okay, that's it. And so people forget that the beginning of the passage from Yeshayahu, the beginning of the passage is L'chu v'nelcha lahar Hashem. Ken, okay. It's when the Goyim say, L'chu v'nelcha lahar Hashem, then v'chitatu chavotem li'itim.
Until then, we have to learn war, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not in favor of being the first person to put down I'm not in favor of being the first person to put down the weapons. That turning the other cheek just gets you crucified, yeah. Rambam, in his final major letter to the Chachamim of Marseille, France, they asked him about astrology. You're familiar with the letter? Can you hear me?
What?
I said Rambam at the end of at the end of his life, Chachmei Marseille, the Chachamim of Marseille, France, they wrote him a letter saying, "Is astrology real or not?" So he could have answered very short, but instead he went very, very stark, and he said that astrology is false, and not just that, but astrology is the avodah zarah that the Yidden were following in the time of Bayis Rishon, and it's why they lost Bayis Rishon, not because of some magical decision on high, but because you don't follow avodah zarah, because avodah zarah doesn't work. And they were following this avodah zarah instead of, he says, v'loi lemidas melchama, v'loi kibush aratzos, is what he says they should have been engaged in. Lemidas melchama v'kibush haratzos. But this letter is the last major letter he wrote, Rambam. All his life, he tried to bring about the next pasuk, Beis Yaakov, L'chu v'nelcha ba'or Hashem. He tried to bring about a world where everybody can see, where we, the Jews, make a perfect society, and everybody holds on to our talis and wants to see and wants to learn from us. And then, Lo yisa goy al goy chereb. Nobody will ever study war anymore. But as he was leaving a world that still ran on the old system, on the game that's been run ever since time immemorial, then he had to say,
It says
Jews,
Cain
learn
in
to shoot.
heaven. Cain,
Yeah, however we look at it, it's always difficult for me to use religious. I'm sure you have a similar thing. My perspective is rationalist, so rationalist, Maimonidean religion works very well together, but most people have a hard time understanding that I'm saying that. But yes, since forever. But I think that it's not necessary. If we all know that cooperation works better, then we're free to enjoy chesed. I think that we would all be
they're free to enjoy what?
engaging in chesed.
Chesed. Okay.
Chesed is one of the greatest joys there are. I'm saying, like, really, I've given this a lot of thought, and not only in my life have I acted this way, but I'm saying I've actually engaged in like serious, thought experiments. And if I have a day where it won't matter, in other words, 24 hours goes back, it restarts, what would I do for that day? Right? And I was like in a sensory deprivation situation, and I thought about it for a few hours until I could get myself into the zone. Chesed is one of the greatest pleasures.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Change glasses.
I think part of why we don't engage in chesed, I think a large part of why we withhold from engaging in chesed, why we, try to get the best for us why are all of our communications are fake, why Adam and Chava started wearing clothes to hide things, is because we're afraid of each other. We're trying to take advantage of each other. And it's necessary up until that point where the whole world can hear the same message at once. The whole world can consider, what do I myself want? Given freedom, what would I do? I think most people, given freedom, not automatically, suddenly, right now. In other words, I would also ideally like to empty the prisons, but not suddenly right now. Obviously, we're talking about a process, but it comes from people understanding that our deepest inclinations, I think, are tzelem Elohim and dmus Elohim. I think olam chesed yiboneh. Ultimately, we don't do that because of our own physical needs and the fact that we'll get run over if we act with too much chesed, we'll get run over. So I think that I'm willing to succeed at engaging the world in this idea any way possible. But my ideal is to do it through our people, through our land. If we can show this to the world. Now, it's a bit late in the game. I tried on October 10th. I published an article, send me to Gaza. I tried to go immediately, let me handle this. Let me free the hostages. Let me show everybody that it's all a misunderstanding. But nobody knew me back then. Today, more people know me. So I would love for it to come from Eretz Yisrael. I would love for it to come from the Jewish people. That's what the Nevi'im say it should come from. I don't want to be a Shaul of Tarshush. Saul, a Paul. I don't want to have to reach out to other peoples because my own people are, arali leiv. I am aroused fasayim, but this is where it should come from. Our people. We have the opportunity now. Everyone knows we have the upper hand. I'm not saying that Israel should give anything. I am a Jabotinskiite. I am a Menachem Beginite. This is my approach. But I'm saying the MS alone suffices to bring us everything we want. And the leadership of the world is Am Chacham V'Novoin. Like in Veschanan, when we're told with Am Chacham V'Novoin, but then in Ha'azinu, we're told that you're an Am Novel, V'loi Chacham. It's only, Bonav Mumam, Am Chacham, Am Novel, V'loi Chacham. It's only the Torah that you have that's making you intelligent. That's your intelligence. So this is the time before. I don't think you know the level of Chilul Hashem. The level of Chilul Hashem, because the world doesn't understand that, of course, if they were in Israel's situation, they would also do exactly what I predicted on October 10th and wrote and published. Kill 50 times as many Arabs as Jews were killed, to maintain the equilibrium for a little bit longer. They don't think about it that way. The Chilul Hashem is enormous. The danger to Jews is enormous. And the danger to our souls. How many soldiers do you think are going to commit suicide over the next years? I'm serious. If we don't fix this right now, so many of our Yidden who are Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim, Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim, they're already committing suicide. This is being done the best that it can according to the rules of the current game. But there's a different game that we can play. A game of honesty. A game that Zechariah says, V'ha'emes v'ha'shalom mehavu. If we admit and we talk truthfully about Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam, yeah, and if we talk truthfully all the scientific truths, all the common sense truths, everything that we know, we can have a reset, a restart of a game. And we can be the ones who lead the world there. We're the only ones probably who can lead the world there. And I'd like your help with your professional understanding of, if people have common you can show the people, the elite to whom this sounds religious and unrealistic. You can show that it's true that if everybody knows that the other side will cooperate, and that if you don't cooperate, it's hashmada, you're out, it's done, and everyone knows the other side will cooperate, because there's very few psychopaths who would not. If everyone knows that everyone else will cooperate, then they will cooperate, and will be able to have the input of the ganze Welt, of the whole world. We'll be able to mamish all be brothers. I think that this is really doable. Bizman hazeh, today, I think this is really, really, really doable. And you have the scientific credentials to teach me and to explain to the world scientifically how we know this can be done. It's a lot to ask.
Okay. Halabai. Lu Yehi.
I tell...
Lu Yehi. Kol Shenavakesh Lu Yehi. That song, the song, Lu Yehi.
Yeah.
Lu Yehi, Ana Lu Yehi. Kol Shenavakesh Lu Yehi. Lu Yehi. Ana Lu Yehi. Kol Shenavakesh Lu Yehi. My only military experience, was as a private, not even a PFC, but a private, in the Yom Kippur War, and not on the front, but sitting under an anti-aircraft cannon on the beach of Tel Aviv, waiting for the Egyptians to come, but they didn't come. So that's that song, Lu Yehi, originated in the Yom Kippur War. It was written in the Yom Kippur War, and what's the name of the writer and the composer also. I forgot her name because I'm getting very, very forgetful, but she's maybe the most famous songwriter.
Ofra Chazon? What's her name?
No, not Ofra. No. Not Ofra. I forgot her name, but very, very, very famous. The same one that wrote Yerushalayim Shel Zahav.
Right, yeah.
She also wrote Lu Yehi. And composed it and wrote the melody for it, the words and the melody. but I forgot her name. Batya, מה השם של המלחינה של ירושלים של זהב? מה? Just a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Just a moment. But I didn't remember either. Wait a minute. I'll get it right away. Yerushalayim. What? Just a moment. Mommy. Mommy. Hello, it's Nomi Shemer. Nomi Shemer.
Yeah, Nomi Shemer.
Yeah, she wrote Jerusalem, and I was in the. As I said, I was sitting on the beach in Tel Aviv, and that song became famous in the Yom Kippur War, the Lu Yehi. Yerushalayim Shel Zahav was in the 6-Day War.
Yeah.
But in the Yom Kippur War, which was later, it was Lu Yehi. That's the song of the year. So what I'm saying is to you is yeah, okay, well, for what you say sounds logical, yes, but unfortunately the world is illogical. So what you're saying, I say Lu Yehi, okay, Lu Yehi. Okay, it was good talking to you. I mean, you're I enjoyed it. Okay, I enjoyed it, and send me some kind of what's it called, a kishur, what's in English, what is it called? Something that you write in the computer and you click on it and it gives you something else. Yeah, it gives you
a link.
Link.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, link. You see, you know, I find myself forgetting my Ivrit, but also my English. You know, very soon I won't know how to talk at all. A link. Okay, so send me a link to your writings. Yes, it sounds interesting, and I don't guarantee to read it all, but I'll dip into it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
So have a good Shabbos and a good winter, a gesunden winter, yes.
Amen.
And it was good talking to you.
Likewise. Sei gesund.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Leave. Okay. Leave meeting. Bye.